Hi, I'm Maureen G. Mulvaney, MGM, the Amazon best-selling author of the Women's Millionaire Club. So what is the Women's Millionaire Club? Well, it started with a simple idea. I was watching the news, and all of a sudden the newscaster said, 56% of the adults living in the United States of America today that are living in poverty are women. Oh my gosh, my heart sunk. I didn't know what to do. I was overwhelmed with upsetness over this statement because at that moment I realized that 56% of the adults living in America living in poverty are women, which means that more than 56% of the children are coming along learning poverty skills. I just couldn't stand that. The thought of it made me almost physically ill because I thought I have been a special educator, an elementary teacher, and a psychology instructor for colleges for years and years and years. And the thought of children living in poverty and learning poverty skills, this couldn't be. So I've been a speaker for the last 29 years and traveled all over the United States from Finland to Malaysia speaking. And it dawned on me I had the power to make a change. So I wanted to create an abundance consciousness that was an easy recipe that anybody could use to follow to gain success in their life and to use the abundance and the prosperity that we have on this planet to help others. And so my mission, my purpose was to get co-creators who wanted to become millionaires who would go out and make a difference on planet Earth in a kind, fun, loving way. And so I started thinking, who should I get to model this behavior? And because you see, it always helps to have models. And we know that only 3% of the millionaires in the United States of America are women. So there are not a lot of models for us to follow. And we can follow the role models of men. But we think differently and we have a different heart than men. And so I thought maybe it's time that someone wrote a book about women who are successful, that have become millionaires, and how did they do it. And so I started looking around. Who would be my models? So first I started thinking about, okay, number one, they have to be a millionaire. That was a no-brainer. They have to be a millionaire. But I thought, what do women do? We love to nurture our family, our friends, and have time for our spirituality. And so I knew that meant time, freedom, and the ability to maybe to have the ability to work and have time with our family, our friends, and the people that we love and want to be with. So I started thinking, so first they had to be a millionaire, then they had to like what they were doing, be happy, and then they had to have the time to enjoy the millions that they were making. So that was my simple criteria. So first thing, I went to my corporate friends, and I have many corporate friends that make big bucks, and so I went to them and I thought, okay, let's find out. And they did make the big bucks, but what I found out was most of them had to have quite a bit of education to get where they were. They had to have quite a bit of experience. If they didn't have the education, they had to have a lot of experience. And then I noticed something very peculiar. They didn't seem to be all that happy. And they kept saying they hit their head, they were getting bloody on the glass ceiling, that even though that they, were tops in their field, there still was a glass ceiling, and most of the time they had to do it the way the guys did it. And so there were a lot of sports metaphors that the men were using, such as win at all cost, winners never quit, all of this kind of stuff. And most of the women had learned to do it, but they didn't seem to be as happy about it, and they even said they weren't happy. So I thought that won't work for everyone, because I was looking for a recipe that would work for just about anybody and everybody. So the next thing I did was I went to my small business friends that own franchises, and I thought, they're making good money. And so sure enough, they were. They had that criteria, but they weren't all that happy because they didn't have any time to spend the money, because they were always working in their business. They were always doing something. And if they decided they were going to take a small vacation, what happened is they had to leave their business in the hands of teenagers. Yikes! And so would you leave your business in the hand of your teenager? And of course, I know your teenager is probably fabulous. And yes, the answer might be yes. But most of us aren't that that happy with all of that. So, and they had to have a great amount of money. The capital, I was surprised the amount of capital that they had to have, not only to start the business, but to sustain it. So the next thing I did was I thought that won't work. So then I went to my friends that were in direct sales that had home-based businesses. And number one, most of the women that I met did make millions. Number two, I wanted to find out they seemed to have a lot of time. As a matter of fact, most of them, I met one lady on a trip to Cancun who was won the trip from her company, all expenses paid. She had her family in tow. She had her spouse in tow. She was loving it, and she said that what she liked was that it was difficult at the beginning. I said, well, what's your experience? I had no business experience. I said, what's your education? And she was almost ashamed to tell me that she had only a high school education. And then she said, I said, what's your experience? Well, I didn't have any before I get into this business. So I went, bingo. They liked what they were doing. They could have the time to do it, and they made the millions. So that's what I wrote in the book. And I took 21, there are 20 women in the book, but I did a survey and assess 21 women to find out what made them tick. What was their recipe for success? And what I found extraordinarily interesting was that they didn't know it themselves. And it was only as a background, my background is in I'm a master's in college psychology, education. Matter of fact, I taught college psychology. So my background is that. So I love to know what makes people tick. And they didn't know. So I came out with the recipe. And the recipe is quite simply, in the Women's Millionaire Club, I state that the recipe is very simple. If you follow it every single time, you will get success. And that is, know what you want, believe you can have it, take action, give thanks and praise. You have to have those 4 ingredients, and you have to have them in that order, and you will get success. You will get to be what you want to be. So if you would like to be a co-creator and to become a millionaire that makes a huge difference on planet Earth in a kind, loving, fun manner, that's who I'm looking for, co-creators that want to have a purpose and a mission. And I want to help teach you what you will need, the ingredients that you will need to gain the success that you want. Because abundance and prosperity means that you will now have the money to do the things you want to do, to give to your church, to give to the people that you want to give to help the family members that you need to help and want to help, to be able to do the things you want to do. Because once you change your belief system and you understand that you will have power and that you will be able to use it in a kind, loving, fun manner, then it's okay to be a millionaire. Money is not the root of all evil. It is the love of money is the root of all evil. And most women that I know want to make a difference. So if you'd like to be a co-creator and create a millionaire consciousness, come along with me on all the sessions that we will be talking about how do you do it. So they found, the millionaires that I found, that didn't need to have specific education, specific experience, but could do it from home where they could be involved with their family, friends, and their spirituality. They found it in home-based businesses, and they are women entrepreneurs. And that's what I would like to explore more. So come along with me as we do this week after week.